If someone in your household regularly shouts, punches, kicks, or acts out vivid dreams in the middle of the night, you need to watch this video carefully. What most families dismiss as an unusual sleep habit may be one of the most powerful early warning signs of Parkinson's disease that science has ever identified. Here is the research finding that changes everything. A long-term study tracking people diagnosed with a specific sleep disorder, called REM sleep behavior disorder, found that, after 15 years of follow-up, approximately 95% had developed Parkinson's disease, Lewy body dementia, or a related neurodegenerative condition. Not a minority, not a statistical outlier, 95%. And the conversion begins not at year 15 but steadily from the start, with roughly 33% converting within 5 years, and over 80% within 14 years. REM sleep behavior disorder is now considered the single strongest known predictor of Parkinson's disease, outperforming any other symptom or biomarker currently available. To understand why, you need to understand what happens in your brain during normal sleep. Sleep occurs in cycles, alternating between non-REM deep sleep and REM sleep, the phase during which vivid dreaming occurs. During REM sleep, the brain activates a critical safety mechanism. Specialized cells in the brainstem send signals that temporarily paralyze all voluntary muscles, except those controlling the eyes and breathing. This muscle atonia exists for an obvious reason, so that your body does not act out what your dreaming brain is experiencing. You can dream of running, fighting, or falling without moving an inch. In REM sleep behavior disorder, this safety mechanism fails. The brainstem circuits responsible for sleep paralysis stop working correctly, and the body begins physically performing the dream. A person chased in a dream will kick their legs. A person fighting in a dream will swing their arms and strike their bed partner. A person screaming in a dream will scream audibly in the room. Upon waking, the person typically remembers the dream and confirms that their actions matched its content precisely. Injuries to both the affected person and their bed partner are regularly documented, ranging from bruises to fractures. The connection to Parkinson's disease runs through a protein called alpha-synuclein. In Parkinson's disease, this protein misfolds and aggregates into toxic clumps called Lewy bodies, which progressively destroy dopamine-producing neurons in the brain. Critically, this destruction does not begin in the motor regions of the brain that produce visible tremors and stiffness. It begins in the brainstem structures that regulate REM sleep paralysis, often years or even decades before any movement symptoms appear. When those brainstem circuits degrade, the REM sleep safety mechanism fails. The violent, dream-enacting behavior that follows is the outward sign that this deep neurological process has already begun. Distinguishing REM sleep behavior disorder from ordinary sleep talking or normal nighttime restlessness comes down to 4 key differences. The first is intensity. Normal sleep talking or minor movement during dreams is gentle and brief. REM sleep behavior disorder produces complex, forceful, goal-directed physical actions directly corresponding to dream content. The second is timing. REM sleep behavior disorder occurs in the second half of the night, typically between 2 and 6 a.m., when REM sleep stages are longest and most frequent. Sleepwalking, by contrast, occurs in the first third of the night, during deep non-REM sleep. The third is recall. People with REM sleep behavior disorder usually remember their dream when awakened and can describe it in vivid detail. Sleepwalkers have no memory of their nighttime behavior. The fourth is demographics. REM sleep behavior disorder predominantly affects men over the age of 50, at a ratio of roughly 9:1 male to female. Sleepwalking is most common in children. If 2 or more of these characteristics match what you or a family member experiences, a formal evaluation with a sleep neurologist and polysomnography, the overnight sleep study, measuring brainwaves, muscle activity, and eye movements simultaneously, is strongly indicated. This is the only way to confirm whether REM muscle atonia is absent during sleep, which is the definitive diagnostic criterion. REM sleep behavior disorder does not exist in isolation. It is one part of a cluster of prodromal Parkinson's symptoms that typically emerge years before motor signs appear. Loss of smell is among the earliest. sometimes preceding motor symptoms by 10 to 20 years. Chronic constipation is another, affecting approximately 2/3 of Parkinson's patients, and in many cases, beginning 10 to 20 years before diagnosis. This connection has gained new significance, with research showing that misfolded alpha-synuclein may originate in the gut and travel up the vagus nerve to reach the brain, making intestinal health an active area of Parkinson's prevention research. Depression and loss of motivation round out the common prodromal picture, reflecting early dopamine depletion in the brain's reward and emotion circuits. If reduced sense of smell, chronic constipation, and violent dream enacting behavior are present together in a person over 50, neurological evaluation should not be delayed. For people who have received a diagnosis of REM sleep behavior disorder, 2 medications are commonly used to manage symptoms. Melatonin at higher doses, typically 2 to 12 milligrams, taken 30 minutes before sleep, has shown benefit in improving sleep efficiency and reducing behavioral episodes, with a significantly safer profile than the alternative for older adults. Clonazepam eliminates episodes completely in 55 to 79% of patients, but it carries risks of increased confusion and fall risk in older individuals, and should be avoided in those with sleep apnea. Both medications suppress symptoms, but do not alter the underlying neurological process or prevent conversion to Parkinson's disease. They must be prescribed and managed by a physician. Immediate safety modifications to the sleep environment are essential. Regardless of medication, patting the floor beside the bed, removing hard or sharp objects from the bedside area, and installing bed rails substantially reduce the risk of injury during episodes. Separating sleeping arrangements temporarily may be the safest option for a bed partner who has been injured. The question of whether neurodegeneration can be slowed or prevented once REM sleep behavior disorder is identified is where the most important and actionable science currently sits. Physical exercise is the most consistently supported neuroprotective intervention. A pilot study found that 6 months of high-intensity aerobic exercise preserved dopamine-producing neurons in the brain in Parkinson's patients. Research on the mechanisms shows that exercise increases levels of BDNF and GDNF, the brain's own neurotrophic support molecules for dopamine neurons, improves mitochondrial function within those neurons, and reduces neuroinflammation. Brisk walking, cycling, or swimming for 30 minutes daily, or vigorous aerobic activity at least 3 times per week, represents the current practical recommendation. Coffee consumption has emerged repeatedly in large-scale studies as inversely associated with Parkinson's disease risk. Research published in a major neurology journal confirmed that higher caffeine intake was associated with significantly lower incidence of Parkinson's disease, with the mechanism likely involving caffeine's ability to inhibit alpha-synuclein aggregation and protect dopamine neurons. 1 to 2 cups of black coffee daily, consumed before early afternoon to protect sleep quality, represents a modest and well-supported protective habit. Antioxidant-rich foods provide cellular defense for dopamine neurons, which are particularly vulnerable to oxidative damage. Blueberries, strawberries, broccoli, and spinach deliver protective polyphenols and antioxidants that reduce the oxidative stress implicated in dopaminergic cell death. Gut health maintenance through prebiotic and fermented foods supports the intestinal microbiome, which emerging evidence links directly to alpha-synuclein accumulation and Parkinson's disease progression through the gut-brain axis. Sleep quality itself deserves active protection. Eliminating screen exposure in the hour before bed, keeping the bedroom cool, maintaining consistent sleep and wake times, and avoiding caffeine after early afternoon, all support deeper, more restorative sleep. Deep sleep activates the glymphatic waste clearance system that removes alpha-synuclein and other toxic proteins from the brain each night. Protecting that process is one of the most direct forms of neuroprotection available. The final message is this: by the time Parkinson's disease announces itself with visible tremors or rigidity, over 60% of the brain's dopamine neurons are already gone. But REM sleep behavior disorder appears years, sometimes decades, earlier. The person who knows this fact and acts on it has time. Time to exercise, time to change. Diet, time to protect sleep, and time to be monitored by specialists. Who can identify the earliest available interventions? As research continues to advance, share this video with anyone who might need to hear it. It may be the most important health information they receive this year.